Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Sunday Rendezvous. Our package tonight is loaded with stories making the rounds, human angle reports, and other heartwarming stories which you cannot afford to miss. So I urge you to draw closer to your television and pay attention while we dish out our content. Do not forget that you can watch us live on our YouTube channel at NTA Enugu, and we begin with the hard news segment. The National Examination Council has rescheduled the 2024 National Common Entrance Examination into Federal Unity Colleges and the Entrance Examination into the Federal Government Academy, Suleja. This was contained in a statement made available to newsmen in Abuja by the Acting Director, Information and Digital Communications of the Council. Aziz Sani stated that the Common Entrance Examination, earlier scheduled for April 20th, 2024, would now be held on June 1st, 2024. He also said that the entrance examination for gifted and talented children into Federal Government Academy, Suleja, earlier scheduled to be held on May 4th, 2024, would now be held on May 25th, 2024. The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, have directed all computer-based test CBT center owners to arrest any parent who is found near any of their facilities during the 2024 UTME exercise. The directive was issued at the final briefing of the computer-based test CBT centers owners, which was held virtually last Wednesday, 17th April 2024. The directive became necessary following the intrusive disposition of some parents during the board's previous exercise. According to the registrar, Professor Ishak Oloide, parents who disobey this order would not only be arrested, but his or her ward would also be disqualified from sitting for the examination. This measure is necessary as it has been discovered over time that many of these intruding parents are facilitators of examination infractions, while others have, by their actions, disrupted the board's examinations in the past. The board's helmsman noted that given by the extant national policy on education, a candidate for the examination must have attained the age of 17. He, however, warned that if a session experienced any technical challenge, candidates in subsequent sessions would be allowed to sit their examination as scheduled, while the candidates in the challenged session will be rescheduled for the last session for the day or the following day, or even further depending on the center schedules. The registrar informed the participants that the board had deployed state-of-the-art technologies to check all manners of infractions, collaborations, and other unsavory acts that are at variance with its code of operations. The UTME has been scheduled to hold from 19th to 29th April 2024. A cross-section of beneficiaries of the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer in Enugu State have lauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his efforts at eradicating poverty, stating that the payment has made life more meaningful to them. Ukeria Ugu reports that the conditional cash transfer payment has brought succor to many families in Enugu.
Here, President Bola Tinubu launched the Renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer to 15 million households. The program launch, which coincided with the World Poverty Eradication Day, was an immediate intervention to cushion the effects of the removal of fuel subsidy and other economic shocks on multidimensional poor Nigerians, as expressed in the 8-point agenda of the Tinubu's administration. In Enugu State, the beneficiaries are overwhelmed by the impact of the cash payment.
I'm very, very grateful to be one of the beneficiaries. In fact, yesterday that I received the alert, I was excited. I rushed to my children's school and paid their school fees immediately. Before, I don't used to pay their school fees on time. Before I paid their school fees, maybe they will send my children out from the school.
For my first time experience, I'm so glad to be part of it. And it's added so much to my business because it's made me to add some products to my small scale business.
The implementation process, which is done in phases across all the states of the Federation through the capturing of biometric data, BVN and NIN has been described as impressive if sustained.
Program, they're just the last discussion by the Ministry of Trade and Investment. They made a notice that by 19th they'll start disbursing the cash in tranche to a lot of the demographics, 70% women and youths, 15% to other demographics, 5% to senior citizens.
It's a very, very good idea. If you match it with the constitutional cash transfer, the major thing is to make more money available to the people, and like what they are doing currently, to make sure that they capture those people who will benefit, so that everything will go through their banks, so that there will be no abuse. Because the major challenge we're having in Nigeria is abuse of the system. But if the implementation is such that those people meant are properly captured, it will be fine. But if you are giving somebody, say, 50,000 or 75,000 naira, it will mean something if you curtail inflation and if you guarantee security.
It is expected that about 62 million Nigerians will benefit from the laudable program geared towards eradication of poverty. In Enugu, Ukereaogu, NTA News.
We'll take a break here. Sunday Rendezvous. We'll be right back. Do stay. It's glad to know you're still there. Welcome back. Research has shown that technology can have both positive and negative impacts on students' reading behavior. While some school of thought believe that it can increase students' interest in reading, others believe that it can also distract them and sedate their interest with modern technological gadgets. Vivian Kewe in this report takes a look at the influence of technology on reading habits.
All-round development of a person, from birth to death. It adds new sight to the eyes and wisdom to the mind. In a modern multimedia society, the radio, television, cell phones, computers, and internet have captured a big slice of time, and reading has taken the back seat. Nonetheless, the importance of reading cannot be overemphasized. Let's explore some of the great gains in reading. Mental stimulation. The phrase, use it or lose it, is apt to keep the brain active. Stress reduction. No matter how much stress you have at work, in your relationships, or countless issues of life, it all slips away when you lose yourself in a great story. Knowledge. Everything you read fills the head with new bits of information, and you never know when it might be handy. Vocabulary expansion. The more you read, the more words you gain, and they will inevitably make their way into your speaking skills.
Reading culture in Nigeria is not exactly where we want it to be. If we're supposed to be at 100%, we're sadly at like 30 to 40%.
For low-budget entertainment, visit a local library and bask in the glory of the countless tons of books available for free. So, if you are one of the countless people who don't make a habit of reading regularly, you are missing out.
Indeed, the importance of reading cannot be overemphasized. And from reading culture, we talk about business and vocational skills. Nigeria, no doubt, has been faced with some electricity issues, especially in the areas of power generation and distribution. And this has affected most businesses and industries. However, even in the midst of these electricity problems, there is still an appreciable resilience amongst many business owners and organizations who are still able to adapt to these electricity challenges, as Ngozika Osai tells us in this report.
Different businesses, different owners, different locations, yet one common challenge. Power failure has become a knotty issue that is threatening the existence, survival, and sustenance of enterprises in our country at the moment.
If customer persuaded me to finish their work, I go for gas. They have been burning gas for me to deliver, for me to be in a safe side. Elite is 1,008. At the end of the day, I don't make enough money.
There's no how we can sew without light, because you will iron, you will use the machine, you have to fresh yourself with fan. It's not easy for me.
As you people can see that there's no light. It's a very difficult situation. Most of the times, after bathing with generator, when you check yourself, you see that all the whole toiling of the days, you just come back hopeless.
Each production stage here is totally dependent on electricity from start to finish. The company illustrates that applying creative and innovative techniques can indeed help cut energy costs to remain productive.
We have two generators. One depends on fuel, one depends on gas. So once the gas one finishes, we switch over to fuel. But within these two sources of light, the gas is more preferable. So what we normally do, once the gen is on, there are some equipment that will not be on. Because once you on the whole machine, the gen will crack. So what we normally do is that we produce one at a time. People understand. You just ask them, please be patient. One machine is on and you can't on all of them. And some people may not be likely to be patient enough. That's where the second gen comes in place. You on the two gen, and that's another expenses. We have to put a little tiny something on the customers to pay for it, whereby everybody shares in it.
The story of resilience and unwavering resolve to succeed was also observed in other places visited. All of them have devised ways to keep afloat in the face of the daunting energy situation.
For me to save my gas, that is why I off my gen. I'll be bending the designs I will apply on that my gates. So at least let me not stay idle.
For me to deliver, because I can't just fold my hand and be waiting for NEPA, so I will go on manual. Or sometimes I will just tell the person, look, if you want me to deliver so time like this, you add more money. So I will go and buy fuel to use generator.
If none of these rechargeable clippers, most of the barbers might have even closed down their shops. If you tell someone that you are using so amount of money to barb in generator, you say no, I can't afford that. It's too costly. But you say, okay, what about if I reduce money and then use rechargeable clippers? You say, okay, you can use it.
An energy expert, Engineer Martin Osondu, recommends how to weather the storm of incessant power outage.
People in businesses, what I advise them to do is to get some panel. Solar power system can power a whole lot. The major cost of running these things is usually the battery, the storage system. So if you can get the energy straight from the sun and use it right away without going to store it somewhere, it will help you. You can knock off more than 60% of the cost. The lamps we have, we call the LED lamps. They are very, very efficient and they work with very minimal power. With this now, you can cut down electricity consumption. And then another thing is just like you too, being smart in your house. Shut up things you don't need at any point in time.
This is one thing I like about Nigerians. They are very resilient and they can adapt to any situation. And while Nigerians are grappling with some economic challenges facing the country in recent times, it has been observed that some traders or sellers are taking advantage of the situation to shortchange Nigerians and make them not to have the real value for their money. Our correspondent Anwuli Onyekong takes the story up from here.
The continuous increase in food prices in the country has become a matter of serious concern to every Nigerian. The jump in inflation has been attributed to the continuous rise in dollar by some people, but the conflicting issue is Why is deflation also affecting locally produced goods like rice, groundnut, gari, beans, and others?
I think it's a function of greed. People are greedy and very much in a hurry to take advantage of every situation, take advantage of every opportunity to rip off people. Vendors are often looking for the slightest way to get more than they ought to get.
I do not see why the price of dollar would affect what we produce locally. Today, it has become a fad for you to walk on the street, you see somebody selling mango, orange, vegetable, anything, which the person obviously plucked from his or her compound. And you tell the person, ask her, how much do you sell? The person will give you one exorbitant price. And you ask the person, why now? The price is too high. The person will tell you, are you not aware that the price of dollar has risen?
The hard economic reality has triggered unethical practices by traders at all levels who go as far as padding their measuring cups, adjustment of scales and foil palms, and also other sharp practices to shortchange their customers and make more profits, thereby reducing the quality and quantity of services rendered.
In these three now, the original one is this one. Then these two are padded. This one is now the tallest. Even if you measure them all, you see the difference.
Can you measure it? Let's see it on the kg. I beg, leave this place.
I should leave the kg. Because of what?
You don't really get the what.
Everything is high now. You know, last year, this cow is 700,000. But now it's a million. And if you ask them, they will tell you that fuel add money, gas add money. If you want to buy meat in scale, it's in zero like this. If I put this meat now, for example, it's 115, 1.5. But if I add this thing and put it in zero, it will not be the same thing. So any day you want to buy meat, just tell the person to put the pan before measuring it.
Good. I'm doing it myself so that I'll make sure that what she got is what I'll get too. It's very obvious from the measurement that this older cup is the original cup.
We have three painters here. They are all the same. We do this because there are some customers that are so greedy, they keep pricing and pricing. And for you to be able to satisfy them and yourself, you have to give them this.
According to some experts, the harsh economic situation, if handled properly, will be a panacea to a robust economy, which will, in the long run, increase the quality of life of the average Nigerian.
I appeal to Nigerians that we need to become more cautious, we need to become more realistic, we need to become more reasonable. Let every hand be on deck to ensure that the Nigerian naira does not become a worthless piece of paper.
Nigeria is blessed with the resources to feed itself. So we should begin to use what we have within ourselves, increase, even if we must increase anything, we could increase exportation, but reduce importation of products, and then, focus inwards.
Yes, we must do everything to help ourselves and not cause more problems for Nigerians. Children are said to be gifts from God. Having a child, whether a male or a female, is said to be a blessing. While there are issues surrounding who the parent of a particular child is, there are still misconceptions among many parents on who determines the sex of a particular child. Sandra Akeme interacted with some health experts on this matter and brought back this report.
You keep wondering why some parents give birth to children with the same gender, which most times result to crisis among families, tagging it as heritable. For some families, having children of same sex affects their life satisfaction negatively.
If a woman keeps giving birth to female children, particularly, the husband worries and the husband's people worry that she's not giving birth to a male child that will advance the name of the family.
It's not that the woman cannot give birth to the female child. It's what the man gives the woman, that woman will produce.
If Almighty Allah give you birth for female, he will say, hey, even a man, and I am better.
Well, it takes two to tango, but scientifically, research has it that it only takes the spermatozoa to determine a baby's sex. Medical experts explain that the theory of X and Y chromosomes in parents' hormones at the moment of conception has an influence. They further hint on the possible ways of getting a particular sex of a child should parents desire it, although the chances may not give 100% results.
Chromosomes are aggregation of genes, okay? And every human being has 23 pairs, okay? 22 of them are what we call autosomes, and one of the pairs is what we call sex chromosomes. So of the sex chromosomes, you have in the man what one of them is called the X chromosome and one is called the Y chromosome. In the woman, both of them are X chromosomes. So usually the combination that leads to a male is the XY chromosome, while the combination that leads to a female is the XX chromosome.
Science has come up with something where we can do X selection, embryo selection. We can hatch several embryos with spermatozoa, and when they begin to grow, there will be many cells. We can pinch a cell, we can biopsy, pinch a cell out of it. It's not going to cause any abnormality. When it's 1 day or 2 days, the organs are yet to determine where they're going to be formed. Then we can pinch it and go and check the karyotype. So we can return the embryos that are bearing the gender, the desired gender, into the woman's womb. So we call it pre-implantation genetic testing.
You've heard experts' opinion on this, and this is where we call it a day on this week's edition of Sunday Rendezvous. We thank you so much for being a part of it, and we wish you a wonderful working week ahead. Good night and stay blessed.